Yay! Oh, that was bad. Anyway, I've been meaning to make this video for a long time because when I got pregnant, YouTube, I didn't tell anyone, and so YouTube was like the only person I could really confide in. And so I've been meaning to make one so that way if there's a single person that watches it, they might be encouraged by what I have to say or by my story. Although it still hasn't really had a great resolution, so I don't know if it's not going to be what you really want to hear. Not really. Just judging by my own thoughts and desires, remembering what they were 2 years ago. So I was 21. I just turned 21. I was a junior in college, and I was studying microbiology. I was really excited about that. I was about to do this summer research program, and I was gonna do some classes over the summer, and I had this boyfriend that I'm sure everyone can relate to, the one boyfriend that you know you shouldn't have, but they fit the criteria, and for some reason my family liked him. And so it was really confusing to make my own decision, knowing better, to actually break up with him. And so actually the weekend before I got pregnant, I had broken up with him because he had said a lot of things about the Bible that did not align with the faith that he said he had. It turns out it was a facade because he knew I was a Christian. Was I really? I don't know. He knew I wanted to be a Christian. And so that's what he said. And anyway, we had broken up, and then through many emails, I was convinced to fly out and see him one weekend, and that was the weekend I got pregnant. So I knew better. I did, and I just didn't do better. Then for some reason I needed to finish out that year. I was really depressed, and I think I was skipping some classes. I wasn't really getting my assignments done, but I just wasn't telling my family, and a lot of chaos was going on. It was dramatic. I knew better, again, that it wasn't going to work out, but that is when I really stepped into faith. So I was really convinced that maybe I should get the A word, an abortion. Still hate saying that word, but I was really convinced that I should get one, because who was I to bring in a child into something I knew was going to be chaos? I thought if, in a weird way, it would be more generous to do that than to not give him this life that I looked to be bad in the future. So I'm just going to tell you a few of the things that made me not get one, and I've not regretted it since. Has it been hard, and has it been properly resolved, and has it been worse than I could have imagined back then? Yeah. But do I want to change anything? Absolutely not. Not at all. So what first argument I came up with myself was, who am I to think that I can control the quality of someone else's life? So what I mean by that is, I thought, if I did get the A word, sorry, I just can't say it, I hate it. If I got that, and then I did break up with him, and I never saw him again, and I ended up falling in love with the most perfect, sweet man ever, had kids with him, why would those children be guaranteed to have a better life? Would they really? And I think that's when I started to understand that I did trust in the sovereignty of God. It's that no matter what, you can't control the lives of your kids. This is a world full of sin, and there's nothing you can really do about it. And as a parent, you want the best for your kids. Even when you just find out you're pregnant, you're a parent now. You want the best for your kids, and you think by not letting them into the world, you're protecting them from the world, which in a weird way is, I guess, true, but that's not us. That's not our role. Our role is to love our kids and trust God. And so that's what I had to do. The second one is, the first story that came to mind was King Day. I'm purposely putting my forehead out because I'm a little bit embarrassed of how big it is, and I don't like looking at myself. So, sorry. Serious again. I'm so sorry. I am the worst at inappropriately timed jokes. Anyway, the second one is King David. Came to mind a lot, and it was because when he committed adultery with Bathsheba, he covered it up with murder. And I just wasn't gonna do that. I wanted to take that Bible story I learned probably when I was 8, which I'm not really sure how I learned that when I was 8. It seems like a mature story. But that I learned at such a young age, and I was just gonna implement it. I was gonna learn from his mistakes. And so those two things kind of is what kept me moving forward, even though it was into a really dark future and a really frayed future, and I knew it was going to be bad, and I knew it was going to be a lot of tears. But those steps of faith, those first ones, oh my gosh, I have a faith and a relationship with God that I'm crying. No one's around, but I'm crying. Okay. Those first steps of faith are what made me actually a Christian. And I definitely would never, ever go back. And I'm so thankful for this perspective of eternity that I have now. Before, I used to just kind of have the blues and now, kind of be a nihilist, I guess. I just didn't really quite see the point in things. And it's because there isn't a point in any action. 1 Corinthians 13, where music playing without love is just a gong, a clanging gong, and it goes on and on about what is the point of anything without love, and it's talking about God's love. And that was all my actions, my pursuits. I was like, it just feels so dull. And it's because without God's love, it's dull. And now life isn't. Trust me, there's a lot of sorrow, but it's not that kind of dullness anymore. I will take this sorrow, this pain, and this misery, and this mystery any day over the life I was living. I mean, I wasn't a rebel kid, but I didn't have to pay for college. I didn't have to pay for my housing. I didn't have to pay for my food. I just got to study. And I didn't even have to have a job. And so I was able to do research projects. I had all these advantages, but even with everything good, I just wouldn't go back there. It was so pointless and so temporary. Now, when I think of all the hard things and the sacrifices, because I gave up everything to have my kid. I gave up it was one of the best schools in the state, my state, not in the nation. I got one of those best schools. I gave up everything. I knew I was going to be permanently attached to a really toxic relationship. Am I allowed to talk about that? I might take this video down eventually, but it's under a pseudonym, so hopefully no one ever finds it. I knew what was gonna happen, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting my thoughts confused. I didn't write this out first, but mommy brain. I wouldn't go back there. when I had quote unquote everything, because my sight is set on eternity. And every time every time I think of all these bad things that's going on, or the sacrifices I had to make just to kind of be not permanently abused, I won't be abused for more than 18 years, but have to deal with that, it's all worth it. What is it? Paul writes about our sacrifices making us more like Jesus, these persecutions making us more like Jesus. And in the moment when it's really bad, I can't say like, oh yeah, I love this suffering, but I don't let it get me down. I don't let Satan try and change my mind. And afterwards, I rejoice in the suffering because I see what it makes me and I see the perspective it gives me. So, if you're going through these things, just pray. Pray. I wouldn't recommend fasting because you probably have really bad morning sickness right now. I just couldn't really eat very much then because I was so sad and stressed and morning sickness. So don't do that. Maybe like fast from social media. That's always one thing I do. Or just pick something that you're maybe getting too much satisfaction from, like online shopping, Amazon, and just cut it off for like a week or two. And social media, and just pray and pray. Seek wise counsel. And if you're having trouble discerning between those two, you gotta pray about it. And then if there's anything in your gut trying to distinguish you one way or the other, then go with it. Through this process, you'll probably learn a lot about following the Spirit because it's in you. It is. And you gotta put on the armor of God every day. A lot of times, if it's really in a dysphoric portion of my life, I'll just like pray it out loud every day, and I'll put it on verbally. I go to school now. I took some time off and I did all online, but now I go to the in-person school, which not many people are right now because it's a pandemic. But I sit in the car in the morning and I'll say my prayers and I'll read my chapter, which just one chapter a day really doesn't cut it, to be honest. You gotta really dive into the Word. So that's also what happened when I got pregnant and everything snowballed, is I finally started reading the Bible. That's something you should probably do, which I just said I was a Christian and I would go to church on Sundays, but not really pay attention that well. I did. I don't know, it wasn't real yet. And now it is. And so I probably should have written out like an introduction, rising action, climax, conclusion sort of deal, but I didn't. I hope this is kind of good enough for you. I hope this helps in some way. But I guess my final thoughts I'd want to leave you guys with, or you with, if anyone even watches this once, is set your sight on eternity, because right now it might not be very nice and the whole future might not look very nice, and you might be worried sick about what's going to happen to your baby if you choose to have it. But just look beyond the scope of this lifetime, and you'll find your answer if you do that. So maybe I'll make a more organized video later, but I've been meaning to make a video and I haven't for a long time, so this is just gonna have to do. I don't know how to edit, and I'm in my car and I've been holding my camera this whole time, which is my phone. So yeah, okay, maybe I'll try and do better next time. I don't know. Bye. You can do it. You can do it. I had a lot of people intervene, some angels from God interfere when I was so on the fence and I didn't know what to do, and they just told me, you're gonna make it happen. You can do it. You're gonna make it happen. Christ is within. That's the anticlimactic. Christ is within me. I will not fail. So, bye. I could talk about this for a really long time, but I'm not gonna talk anymore because I gotta go back to class.